quick little blooper to start off the video. After years of using a cheap ring light from Amazon and twisting and adjusting every time I start a video, it may have just broken off in my hand. So it's time to order a new ring light. Yeah, it's broken. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of a different angle then, so that since it's midday, I'm doing this on my work from home lunch break. I'm facing my south-facing window in my sewing room home office, and we'll get some natural light. First things first, I'll give you guys a quick update on Buster. In fact, I'm going to pause one more time and I'm going to go get him. Stairs. So Buster had his surgeries. Let's tilt down. Buster had his surgeries. You can see, tilt your head up, buddy. See, we're shaved on our neck. We have an incision there. We have my shirt on him. This big mamma jamma here. We got our stitches out. You're okay though, aren't you, buddy? So he's okay. That all seems to have healed pretty well. The downside, let's tilt you back up as you stare at my hand for a second. The downside is when I went to go have the stitches taken out earlier this week, the pathology came back on the mass that was removed on his side, that big giant incision. And he had told me when Buster was still at the vet after the surgery, he called me and he said, look, it's a big incision. He said it had grown really fast and I was worried about it. He said, so I took a lot. I took as much as I could, and it's a huge incision. So when you come and pick him up, like, be ready, it's a huge incision. Like, it basically goes from his spine to his kitty belly button if he had one. But the pathology came back, and it was a malignant sarcoma, which basically is cancer. But he took a lot, and the margins on what he took weren't clear, which isn't great, is it, buddy? It's not great, but we're going to be super optimistic and we're going to hope it just doesn't come back. So I have instructions to regularly be, let me make some room for you, bud. Nope, we're leaving. We don't like being poked and prodded. So I have instructions from my vet to normally be like poking around that incision site and feeling it and seeing if I feel something growing back. In fact, we have a follow-up. Now my black shirt is covered in Buster. I don't know why I wore this today. So we have a follow-up a month from when he got his stitches out, like mid-March, for him to look at him again with, you know, professional eyes and see if he sees or feels anything, has immediate concerns. But he said, if you notice something sooner, call and come back sooner. So that's where we are. His thyroid's gone. The mass is gone. The giant mass is gone, but apparently there's still potentially some remnants of cancer cells. Buster's 16. He turned 16 in March. And I recognize that that's a long time for a cat. But I'm selfish, and he's my baby, and I want him forever. I know I can't have him forever, but I want him as long as possible. And I share this at the front of the video rather than the end because I feel like that you guys love Buster. Like, you love Buster almost as much as I love Buster, which is a lot. I have had this channel since 2015, and you guys have just, he's been here the whole time. What do you see, buddy? He's just sitting on the floor staring out into the hallway being a weirdo. Yeah, mommy's a little weirdo. So, yeah. That's where we're at. We're just being extremely optimistic, and Buster gets whatever Buster wants. Within reason. Buster will eat roasted or grilled chicken until he pukes. So he gets enough of those things that we know is kind of his limit. Whenever Jim makes a tuna sandwich, Buster gets tuna. Whenever Jim makes a turkey sandwich, Buster gets turkey. Buster gets what Buster wants. And so does Dharma. She just walked in the room. So yeah, that's where we're at. On a super positive note, I hit 10,000 subscribers. I've been doing this for a really long time. I know some people say that I'm the first Flosstuber they watched, or I'm their favorite Flosstuber. That is wonderful to hear. But the truth of the matter is, I'm me, and I'm kind of unique, and I'm quirky, and I'm weird, and I'm just myself on these videos, and I say what I think, and not everybody likes that, and that's okay. Oh, rare Dharma sighting. She is such a chunk. She hates to be held. She's so chunky. Ouch. Hates to be held. It's on her terms. So yeah, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that is okay. That's honestly kind of the way I like it. I like my little niche group of people. So hitting 10,000 is remarkable and a major milestone for me. You know, I'm barely over 10,000. So those that have channels know that you gain and lose subscribers on the regular. I may be under 10,000 after I post this video. So I would really like to do a giveaway for hitting 10,000, but I'm going to wait and do it when I'm consistently there. Like I've stayed there and it hasn't dropped. Also, the winner from my last giveaway, Gwyneth, can tell you that I suck at giveaways. But I'm up front and I tell you that I do. You will get your giveaway prize, but sometimes the executive function that it takes to gather and put together a piece of mail, make it pretty, tape it in the box, do the card, get postage on it, get it to the post office, is more than I can do some days. And that's just the truth of it. And plus, during the time that I was trying to get hers mailed out, it was the holidays, and then I got a cold, and anyway. But yeah, generally it's just lack of executive function. Like I'm at work all day, and by the time I get home, I'm just like, some days here lately, especially like if Jim has worked from home that day, I'll walk in the door, drop my stuff upstairs past his office, which is across the hall here, say, hey, hon, I love you. I'll be in our bedroom with the lights off, laying in silence. And he knows that, like, I just need that sometimes after I've peopled all day. Just like, I'll just be here for a little while. I love you, but I'll be in here. Just kind of regaining my calm. I've ran my mouth for almost 10 minutes. So let's get into some stitching. Okay, I did a little bit more work on Jane Hardy since I saw you guys last. That is one of the, it's in this lovely bag. That is one of the little gems from Hands Across the Sea samplers. It is one of my absolute favorite Hands Across the Sea samplers. You can download this from their website, which is what I did. And it has, I'm doing it in DMC, and it just has these beautifully bright colors. So fun and funky. This is on a piece of Lakeside Linen Buttercream that I had stashed. Hey, Dharma Bunny. Because Dharma doesn't make appearances on here that much, or on YouTube or on Instagram that much, it's not because we love her less. It is because she is just a meek and mild and shy cat. So she doesn't present herself as the ham that Buster is. So when she's much more cuddly now that she's older, she's about 10 now, than she was when she was younger. But when you get your cuddle time with Dharma, you just kind of enjoy it and soak it in and savor it. And you're less worried about photographs. Buster's up in your business most of the time. So, and also when Dharma meows, it's usually like if something comes out, it's noteworthy. And she has a voice because she can use it, but she's just so like meek. She's just like, in fact, when Jim is giving treats, sometimes she'll meow wanting one, but she'll meow and he'll be like, use your big girl voice. And she'll meow and he'll give her a treat. Okay, Lakeside Buttercream, Jane Hardy. My goal was to do everything that I could see in my Q-snap, which I got done. That is a lot of stitching on that house because that is solid stitching. Let's really get in here so you can see that. But this is so fun to work on. This linen is a dream to work on. I love working with DMC. It's just such quality thread. And it's like you can use the loop method, and these colors are just, every one of them is fun. I know I've said before, like sometimes I'll be working on a piece and like you get excited, like if it's a bunch of like drab browns and stuff, to get to use the like one fun color. We're like, ooh, blue. These are all fun. They're all fun. So there's that. The next one I worked on, I think will make a lot of people very happy because I got a lot of comments when I did my basically my mini whip parade, where people were like, you've got to work on that, you've got to get it finished. You're right. You're right, everybody. You're right. So I pulled out Emma Fowler. This is the piece that I talked about where Fowler is my mother's maiden name, and I wanted to do this piece and gift it to her because I mean, there's a chance. I don't know. I've never done the ancestry. Maybe we're related to this Emma Fowler. Maybe we're not. But just the chance that we are is kind of beautiful. So this is a chart by Cherish Stitches. It's Emma Fowler Reproduction Sampler. This is charted for Avis and Needlepoint Silks, which we know Emily doesn't really enjoy stitching with silks. So I did a personal conversion. You can see I've just written all over this page to DMC. So these are Emily's DMC threads. Also really fun. It's lots of greens, some blues, reds and pinks and browns. I'm doing this on a very unique fabric choice. This is a piece that I had bought from Silk Weaver, and it's a piece called Terracotta from Silk Weaver, and it's very pink, but it's a beautiful pink. When you guys saw this last, I had about half this much done. I have basically doubled my progress. So I had started in the upper left-hand corner. I had part of that center motif done, most of it actually, but I had to finish the bottom basket. And I got that done. And I got the flowers in on the top border. I did the far right border completely. And I got all those other motifs on the right end. It was a lot of fun to work on. And just the thought of that, I'm getting so much closer to finishing it and getting it framed up to gift is, I mean, that's a good feeling. I don't work towards finishes generally. I love a good finish, but I'm a progress stitcher, as I've said time and time again. But getting significant work on something, yeah. Here and there, I have changed colors just to suit me. Like this dark maroon is actually charted for this same pink as the darker pink in the border, but I wanted something that was going to stand out in the center motif a little bit more. So I chose one of the darker colors. I think everything else is pretty much as charted though, a direct conversion. So if anybody is interested in working on this and wants my conversion, if you want my conversion, English, I'm telling you, I'm more than happy to always share my conversions, but this isn't a super popular chart. In fact, I don't know that I've ever seen anyone else stitch it, but I would be willing to share it. Okay, let's get everything tucked back away. The next thing that I worked on is what I'm currently working on. So it is still in my Q-snap. It actually still has a thread hanging because I put some stitches in with my coffee this morning before I got started working. So I will pull this back out tonight and I will work on it until I finish February section, because this is No Time Like the Present. This is the Modern Folk Embroidery 2024 Sal. So you can see I'm just working my way from left to right on that second February section, which you can see there's a very distinct mark here at the bottom of January. I'm creating a distinct mark here at the bottom of February, and I'm just coming across. I'm doing this on a piece of Seraphim Chai linen in 36 count. I'm doing it 2/2, which is my preferred method. You can just assume if you see my stitching, unless I say otherwise, that it's 2/2 on 36, because I love a nice fluffy stitch. And I'm doing this with Classic Colorworks Black Coffee and Classic Colorworks Polywog, which is a nice variegated black, and then that kind of a greenish ochre color. Polywog, if you've never seen it, if you remember what is the name of that thread? It was so popular there for some time. It was a ghast color. Pine. No. Those days where your brain just doesn't work that well. I know you guys are shouting the color at me. It was the same green, and ghast made it, and then it just started coming out really brown. And then you stopped seeing it as much because it wasn't the shade of green it used to be. Huh. Well, so there's that. Just don't remember. And that's all I've worked on since I've seen you last. I have one piece of haul because Buster had surgery. Very, very expensive surgery. So expensive. But I would pay twice that much. So what I got was my February thread club from Color and Cotton. This is the Primitive Neutral 5 skeins, and it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Excellent, excellent job. I've got a few other things I want to talk about, though, to kind of round out the video. Everybody knows that market is coming in like a matter of a week or two. So I want to go through some of my market highlights that I feel are like noteworthy pieces. And in fact, I'll put this here for that. Oh, I have a question. I was going through some stuff and I pulled this out because I have a question. Am I having a brain moment where my brain just isn't working? Or if you were in the Threads of History Club from Spring Green Country Sampler, is this the last one we got? Because I keep waiting on a new one and I haven't seen a new one. And the receipt on this says September of 2023. I think we're due a new one. Did I forget something? Am I missing something? Not that that's bad, because I know a lot of the times they've got to work to wait on enough supplies of everything to send it out to everyone in the club. So they've got to gather all the threads, they've got to gather all the linen, get it cut, get it packaged up. But is this the last one? I don't know. So I was getting ready to, I've got to clean it here. I would turn the camera around and show you the whole room, but I'm embarrassed. Like, you hear Laura talk about her sewing room and how bad it is. We could probably compete, Laura. Although, I'm at that point where my house, and maybe it's because it's starting to get warm outside, but I'm really feeling like it's about to be time for a nice deep clean. Like pulling stuff out, vacuuming everywhere, washing curtains, like that kind of deep clean. It just feels heavy. Like, does your house ever start to just feel kind of heavy and you want to lighten it? I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is something that hit me in the past couple of weeks. And I posted a poll on Instagram. So if you've seen that, you already kind of know where my head's at. I kind of you go through stages of your stitching. Like when you're a new stitcher, like you're like, stitch all the things. And you get excited and you're trying this designer and you're trying that designer and you're jumping on all the bandwagons. And then like you kind of fall into your niche, whatever that is. My niche is I love color and weird samplers. Just like little odd things and like an odd sampler. So I also have started and collected my fair share of mirabilias. When I first started stitching, mirabilias were huge, at least in the stitching group that I was running in at the time. So mirabilias were a big thing. They still are. They're still a big thing. I just feel like they're more of they definitely have a cult following, which there's nothing wrong with. I finished one mirabilia. I finished August Peridot Fairy, and I loved every second of stitching it. I'm not sure if I have a picture of it, but if I do, I'll pop it in here. I don't have it anymore. I donated it to Michelle Bendy Stitchy back when she was doing auctions, and McKenna bought it. She got it in the auction, so as far as I know, that is still framed and in McKenna's house. I have been having the urge to start another mirabilia because I don't have one on the go. If you've never done a mirabilia, like you may look at them and go, that's not my taste. They are so fun to stitch. And they just are. They're so fun to stitch. And like the color gradients and the blocking, and depending upon the one that you use, like being able to use a metallic thread here or there, or some super fancy thread or bead. I've also finished a lavender and lace. I finished lavender and lace Angel of Love and gifted that to my mother. I'll put a picture of that in here. I became obsessed with that one. I started it before my dad passed away, and he knew I was doing it on the down low for my mom. And then my dad died, and I still continued to work on it like feverishly and got it done. It has so many metallics and so many beads. It's insane. But that's a fun stitch. But it's a labor of love. The Angel of Love is a labor of love. I have like one or two other lavender and laces that I've started, but I want to start another Mirabilia. So I put up a poll as to which one I could start or should start because I couldn't decide. And there was like basically a top two. The one that won was, I think it was released last summer, and it's called Blackbird. I haven't bought it yet because Buster had surgery. So I'm not buying anything right now, but it's in my cart. It and the DMC, or the threads, are in my cart on 123 Stitch that I'll probably buy next month sometime. We'll see. We'll see how the money flows. So it's just sitting there. But this is Blackbird, if you haven't seen it. She's so like ethereal, and like she's supposed to be like capturing the essence of the character Kathy from Bronte's Wuthering Heights, maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I've never read those books. That type of literature just never really rang my bell. Nobody shoot me. But like it's supposed to be her like wandering the moors. So I mean, she's kind of beautiful. I would put her on my wall, probably in here in my stitching room, but I would so put her on my wall. So I'm going to start her. The second one, which I'm not going to start immediately, but is on my radar, that I've always liked. This one's out of print. I've had it for a while. You can still find it, but it's not going to be $14, $15 like the current in-print Mirabilias. But Jim really likes this one because it has a very Renaissance quality to it, and we both are drawn to that type of artwork. So this is the Dreamer. This came out in 1994. She's pretty. She is so pretty. So I'll just show you the other ones that I have too. But before I show you the other ones that I have, I'll show you the one that I don't own that I really like and was considering. And that's Ophelia. I love, that's based off of a Shakespearean play, but I love the painting, the Ophelia painting of her lying in the water lilies. It's so beautiful. I took so much art history in college, so much art history, just because I loved it. And that part of art history makes my little heart sing. But yeah, so I really like that one. I'll add it to my collection to One Day Stitch. And here's some of the other ones that I have. This will be fun. This one I bought when it was reprinted because it had gone out of print, and I just knew I really liked her. So this is Nora Corbett's Fairy Moon. If I stitch her, I will change her colors. You know I love a good color conversion. She's very pretty. This one was on my possible list. This is Fairy Flora. I bought her used. I think she's also out of print. You can still find her, but she's not $14, $15. She came out in 1994. I gave more than $4 for her. She just had that on her when I got her. She's pretty. She's a lot of pink, but she's pretty. This one's out of print. You could tell, like, you see the out of print ones at good prices when you know they're out of print, and you snag them. And you're like, if I ever want to stitch that, I have it. This one is solid stitching, pretty much. This is Mirabilia's The Kiss. Man, that's some romantic Some romantic kissing right there. So let's see. This one I don't know if I'll ever do, but just in case she ever really called to me, I got her used. I held on to her. This is Autumn Queen. Kind of seeing what I've still got in my stack here. These are ones that I bought. All of these were new when I bought them, I believe. Nope, this one was used. This one was gifted to me. This is a Midsummer Night's Fairy. You can tell that the designer of these really liked Shakespeare. She's so pretty. Speaking of Shakespeare, I love this one. I was just watching somebody the other day. Sullivan, last name is Sullivan. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. You have good videos. You're new. You just put out your 3rd video, maybe? Trish Sullivan? Oh gosh, I'm probably wrong. I'm so sorry. You have this in the background of your video though. And Shakespeare's Fairies. I find I'm drawn, she does a lot of them on this Witch Elt Laurel linen, which if you've never stitched on Witch Elt, if you like a soft fabric, don't do it. It's a stiffer fabric, which is very conducive to beading and doing things like that. But oh, so pretty. They look like a dream. They look like a dream. I've seen people finish this one. I think maybe Letitia finished this one. Yeah, she's so pretty. This is At the Met. She fancy. Speaking of fancy, this is The Garden Party. Their dresses are kind of like the one that I'm going to start, the Blackbird. I think that's one reason I really liked these ladies, is their beautiful dresses. And I love the lanterns. Pretty much any design that she's put out with these lanterns, I've grabbed up. Last one that I own. This is Mirabilia Gypsy Queen. Love me some Gypsy Queen. The only thing is I might color convert the pink in her dress. And I'm just not sure how I would go about doing it, which is why I've never started her. Man, she's pretty. As I'm noticing it in this, it's been 4 months since I got my nose pierced, and I went on Sunday and got a shorter rod put in. So it's pretty much completely healed-ish. So pretty. So Mirabilias. I'm going to kit up Blackbird. I'm trying to decide what I want to stitch Blackbird on. I'm leaning towards some Picture This Plus Murky. I don't know. Years ago, and it may still exist, but for the life of me, I can't remember the link or the name of it or anything. But there was a website that you could go on and you could put Mirabilias and chatelaines and those kind of designs. You could overlay the design on different kinds of fabrics, like Picture This Plus, and I want to say Undersea Sea Fabrics had theirs uploaded on there. And you could see, like, without having to just imagine it in your head, kind of what these different designs would look like on these different fabrics. If that still exists, or if someone knows the link to it, can you put that down in the comments? Because I have been Googling out the wazoo, trying to get it to pop up, and either it's gone or I'm not putting in the right keywords. So there's that. because I'd really like to play around with Blackbird and kind of, just in case there's some weird funky color that would look better. I want to be able to see it. I'm gonna pull my laptop up here now because we're gonna chat market. And I'm going to put pictures up here as I talk about them, because obviously I only own one of these, and I'll explain that at the end. Okay, where are we at, yo? Okay, I'm not going to buy all of these, maybe over the years if they continue to speak to me, but these are all of the charts coming out at market that there have been pre-release or teasers of to this point, and today is February 21st, that I'm like, you know what, that's kind of cool. The first one is Needleworker's Oath by Teresa Kogut. I love, like, she and a couple of other designers will do those, like, I think I called one of them a Big Booty Judy and made Ellen Reed laugh in a past video. But they make these Big Booty Judies, which this Big Booty Judy can totally relate to. And I am here for it. These girls with these giant asses. I like her. It says, I promise to keep needlework in my hoop and try with all my heart to stitch daily. And there's the birds and the hoop and the kitty cat. It's a good one. Okay. The next one is also Teresa Kogut. This is the Hello Spring book. I haven't seen everything in it yet because it says that there's 8 designs, but there's just something about that cover page design that I really like. And it reminds me a bit of this one by Paulette, this Plum Street Samplers. But it's different enough where I would stitch them both. Totally stitch them both. So there's that. This one, I love a good sampler. And I love a good sampler with an air of morbidity. If you look down at the bottom, this one says, died August 17th, 1850. There's a story there, and I'm sure, or I hope, that it's in the notes, but this is Selena Dunnion by My Sister's Samplers. And you know what? Go ahead and check out everything that My Sister's Samplers is releasing, because they're not a designer that gets talked about a lot, but they're bringing it to this Nashville market. I also love a good Adam and Eve sampler. So next, I mean, what's market without lots of great ones from Kathy Barrick? But there were several that I liked, but this one is classic Kathy Barrick. This is Vibrant Flowers by Kathy Barrick. I mean, it's fun. It's kooky. This one, this is the Ann Harper Pendrum. There's a giant sampler that they're releasing as well with this house on it. This is Fox and Rabbit Designs. I just really like the house. So I love that they're releasing just the house and these other motifs separately, because sometimes I want to stitch a big ass sampler and sometimes I just want to stitch a house. So sold. I will just stitch this house. It's a good one. Oh, this one. It has a religious verse, which I'm not here for it. But Erica Michaels. This is Emma Badman, or Badman, however it's pronounced, Wadford. These motifs and the numbers and the letters down the sides of the border and that bird and that berry basket. Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of people mention this one, but yeah, I can replace the verse easily. So Laura talked about this one. I'm not sure I'll get this one, but it's worth mentioning and bringing up because this giant house, all these girls were lined across the bottom, and that big rooster. And then it looks like maybe there's a peacock or something on top of the house. It's hard to tell. But yeah, this is Ann Newton 1838 sampler by Cardan Antiques and Needlework. It's a big house, big rooster. Okay. I just like this one. And I'm not sure I've ever heard of this designer. This is Pine Tree Chalet by Blueberry Ridge Design. And I mean, look at the colors. This, I mean, it's my jam. Like, it just is. So that one was the first time I saw it. It's kind of a Christmas holiday piece. Yeah, I'm going to need to stitch that. That's a good one. I'm going to say that about all of these. Okay. This is the first market release that I saw where I was like, yep. Geraldine's Flowers by the Artsy Housewife. I am finishing up a rewatch of Northern Exposure right now, which has been released on Amazon Prime. I think I've mentioned that in a recent video. But the bear, the kind of interlacing of border that's like, could it be quilt motifs? Could it be Native American art? Like, it's got a Northern Exposure vibe to it, and I'm here for it. So, Geraldine's Flowers, I need it. The other one that really sang to my soul from the Artsy Housewife is this one, Mellow Yellow. These are my colors. And it's got a 70s vibe. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I want to stitch that almost immediately and hang it in my office at work and just stare at it every day. If only I had all the hours in the day to stitch all of these things as quickly as I want to stitch them. So the last two are the ones that I feel are the stars of the show of Needlework Marketplace. Nashville Needlework Market. Whatever the hell's happening. So this one I know lots of people are going nuts over. Lots of people are going nuts over this one. Grayscale. Little Robin Designs, Grayscale, 1838. I think you won market. Yeah. The griffins, those cats, the peacocks, the trees. That's a nice sampler. That's a nice sampler. It is it's a religious verse. It's a weird religious verse. Me and Michelle Koziek were talking about it. She was like, it's kind of dark. And I was like, yeah, but I might still have to replace it. Those griffins, those cats. The cat's kind of, like, the only one I've ever seen that was kind of like that was Charlotte Clayton. But I mean, it's still very different and unique. Yeah. The last one, I'll just show you because I already own it. If you didn't buy this when it was an exclusive, it's, according to Needlework Press, this is your chance. It's coming to market with them. And that is Ann Kirby, 1845. I already have it. I haven't started it. I have it in this bag. I've got it kitted up with a piece of Color and Cotton Beethoven and all the cotton threads. So if you get this at market, kit it up. Let's do a sal, because Lord knows I need another sal. Like, I need another hole in my head, which I apparently keep poking in there. So, you know, maybe I do need another hole in my head. Piercings, I think, are somewhat like tattoos. They're a little addictive. Like, you get one and you're like, that's cool. Maybe I need another one. But yet I don't like too many. So I'll probably just keep the one. Maybe a couple more on my ear or something. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here to talk about. So yeah, that's it. I am going to, oh no, that's not it. I was watching Brenda and Laura's video on Sunday, and Laura brought up the idea of a leap year new start. And I think Brenda rolled her eyes, and because Laura's like me, she's like, let's start something new. And Brenda's like, finish what you started already. I was already contemplating a leap year new start, but yeah. I mean, all she had to do was say, I think I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, I'm in. So I texted her and I said, I'm going to, I already have it kitted. I don't know where it is. I've got it around here somewhere. It's probably over there in that basket. Who knows? But anyway, I am going to get all of my DMC on thread drops. And on February 29th, I am going to start Jane Atkinson by the Scarlet Letter. I have loved her for years. And I've been trying to, outside of the Modern Folk Embroidery, I've been trying to stick to doing some pink stitching in February for the February pink stitching, or whatever the hashtag is. She's pink. She's got a lot of pink, so she fits, and I love her. And I'm excited. I'm going to start her on a darker piece of Tobias linen. I'm really excited about that too. I want to see how those colors pop and show up on it. My little happy new start dance. So now I'm done. Now that's it. I will be back in March, and I will see you guys then and be able to show you the progress that I've made on all things, and we'll chat later.